Hi dear friends, welcome to my channel. It's Akshadari by Devraj. I hope you guys are doing great and happy. Before going to start today's newspaper reading, I would like to announce very important information related to the foundation, Vishnu Foundation, which is providing the free opportunities and free learning platform for the visually impaired and physically handicapped, and open students. So the Vishnu Foundation is hiring for the volunteers who is ready to work with Vishnu Foundation as volunteer. They can join with Vishnu Foundation, and if you are interested to work, if you are interested to join, please send your resume to Vishnu Foundation .kar@gmail.com. So you'll be screened for the interview, and then you'll be, I am sure you guys, if only a few people are interested to join, are interested to work as volunteers. So there are only, like, I can say only few were good, and nobody is like would work as the volunteer for the empowerment of upon children, visually impaired and physically handicapped people and children. So we have started, the Vishnu Foundation has been started in the year 2020 to uplift the uh, Harpan students and visually impaired and physically handicapped students. So I hope you guys would join the Vishnu Foundation and help the urban students, visually impaired and physically handicapped students in your location and in your state. We have almost 50 plus volunteers already, so we are looking in all the districts of India, in an Indian territory. So I hope you will be the first one in your district to become volunteer with Vishnu Foundation. I hope you guys and let me start today's newspaper reading. Before going to start the newspaper reading, I would request you guys to please subscribe to my channel, like and comment. If you like the video, please follow, please subscribe, and share with your friends, neighbors, which is whom it is very useful. Let me start today's newspaper reading. Yes, guys, today is 30th May. It's almost the end of the May month. So let me see what's in the front page of the Hindu newspaper. Navigation satellite goes into orbit. Gaylord pilot agree to fight fall together. Imports from China on the rise in 2023. Turkey was a triumph for Ottoman glory. A sign of a changing nation and voters' divide. Djokovic begins bid for 23rd slam in straight. 10 killed in head-on collision near T. Nasipur. It's a very bad incident. This has happened in the T. Nasipur district, almost in the road of T. Nasipur, Mysore district. So it is very bad. Almost 10 people were died in this accident. Please guys, at least while riding the vehicles, please maintain the traffic rules and be safe and be careful. Do not hurry up to go fast. So Shah lands in Manipur to initiate peace measures. The Home Minister is likely to visit the hill and valley districts in the violence-hit state to assess the security situation. Meet with civil society organizations, Mighty and Kuku groups welcome visit. Rolls-Royce booked and grab charge in Hawk aircraft deal. Ministers get portfolios. Citizens fear flooding of city roads during monsoon. According to senior Bruhat Bangalore Mahanagara Palika officials, the main reason for flooding is the run of water on the streets during a downpour. And the only situation is to create a recharge balance. Women's death look like the initiates your motto action. Water leak in Whitefield, Katagudi Metro Terminal Station after rain. BBMP forced to be held at the earliest decades. 21st edition of the Hindu Education Plus Career Counseling from June 3rd. Polluting children's minds can't be condoned. Education sector will not be allowed to be adulterated in the name of the National Education Policy, says Chief Minister Siddharama. Many walks long distances to reach school in Shivamoga. PhD students of IISc they need visa to attend meet in Canada. Trucker employed in Bengaluru rescued from Charmadi Falls. Four students drowned in lake. Ministers hand their portfolios. CM keeps finance and IT VT. Shivkumar gets major and medium irrigation and Bengaluru city development. Senior ministers given portfolios involving implementation of guarantees announced by Congress. Parmeshwara allotted home, excluding intelligence. KH Muniyappa gets food and civil supplies. HC adjourns hearing on petition against Lingayat courts. Quota guarantee schemes CM seeks report. Last to state if central schemes are not implemented. Sorry state of affairs says High Court on absence of toilets in 464 government schools. Family that made Singhal felicitated RPM's residents. Vummudi Bangar Chetty and Sons had designed and manufactured the Singhal in 1947 that was handed to Jawaharlal Nehru as a symbol of transfer of power from the British. ISRO GSLV rocket places navigation satellite into orbit. India will have a huge geriatric care market. Three diopter inhaling toxic gases. Indelible imprint of the fifth estate in Karnataka. Symbols, substance, religious rituals at the opening of new parliament building defied propriety. The Erdogan victory atrium for Ottoman glory. Let me read this editorial page, guys. Editorial page is yes, the indelible imprint of the Fifth Estate in Karnataka is a former Central Information Commissioner and now Dean School of Law, Mahendra University, Hyderabad. While political parties fought bitter battles in Karnataka in the run up to the assembly election, civil society in the state, without any alliance or imbibing any particular political hue, made an indelible mark in the history of elections in India. Civil society with one or two associations or organizations came together and fought against the strategies of the political parties. They struggled for around 6 months before the elections under the umbrella. Edhelu Karnataka, wake up Karnataka, and the result is there for the nation to see. They did not argue with the public campaign against any party, but just asked the people to wake up. They listened to the people intensely. They put both the state, the real issues from confronting them. They fought against the powerful politics of bigotry orchestrated by communal forces that was talking the issues around the hijab, bajan, and love jihad, to name a few. Their intervention opened new vistas for positive politics, secularism, and peace. They did not talk about Operation Kamala, that is the dubious defection drama practiced by one major party, followed by judicial interventions that involve a legal interplay of words and arbitrary interpretations in court halls with a selective use of constitutional means to whitewash criminal acts. Indeed, political manipulation has become everyday play. One such political party, the Janata Dal, failed in a big way in the elections. The people of Karnataka rejected it. The dishonest game players were defeated. As a campaign of awareness, a professor at Hyderabad University and human rights activist G. Haragopal said that Edduilu Karnataka had the singularity of a movement to wake up people from political inactivity during election time. He noted that in Karnataka, civil society comprised writers, poets, artists, and cinema makers who moved in unison during these polls. Revolutionary writers such as Baswana and Devanur Mahadeva had influenced the people, campaigned for fraternity, and fought against divisive forces. The campaign was intended to make people identify communal elements and parties. Professor Aragopal said that the campaign generated live discussion and debate within civil society during elections and won people over. More than 100 people from various social groups worked together for 6 months, held 250 workshops, met people in one or three constituencies, formed 192 groups, and over 2,000 workers campaigned among voters. They collected data from 41,000 families, distributed 650 posters, and produced 80 videos. 100 meetings with journalists were organized, and more than 50 dharnas involving farmers, labor, Dalits, women, students, and tribals were organized. The campaign quietly spread to 151 taluk areas in 31 districts. It was a distinctive campaign to raise voter consciousness against the communal agenda. Divisive politics and hate campaigns. Their commitment could not be questioned. 1 lakh pamphlets were printed and distributed. They were not political leaders but simple workers. These social groups did not campaign against any political party. Instead, they worked by asking the people to vote in the polls, promoting friendship and opposing hate. They awakened civil society and supported democracy, the constitution, and the unity of the people. Generally, all the known political parties put up some candidates in order to ensure that the votes of particular candidates are split. But this time, civil society groups met 49 candidates, negotiated over several weeks, and successfully convinced them to withdraw from the contest so that the votes didn't split so as to defeat candidates with a communal agenda. This was no mean achievement. They knew the strategies of splitting votes and purchasing elected members of the Legislative Assembly. The campaign has grasped election politics and mastered the art of getting to know the public pulse in the election. Defections and overnight governments. The people of Karnataka have been the victims of defection dramas, as seen in the election in recent years in Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, and Manipur. In an article, Maharashtra Political Crisis, the limits of Supreme Court's expiations, May 15, 2023, the right has called defection as political skullduggery. These Chanakya-like maneuvers have resulted in the dislodging of the Uddhav Thackeray-led coalition government and the overnight formation of a new government led by Eknath Shinde that consists of a coalition of faction of the Shiv Sena and Bharatiya Janata Party. The drama shifted to the High Court and the Supreme Court of India too. The top court observed that it could not ordinarily adjudicate petitions for disqualification under the 10th schedule, relying on Kiyoto Ulama, which is Judge Chillu and others, and Rajendra Singh Rana and ORS versus Swami Prasad Maurya and ORS. The top court held that the disqualification of MLAs was put was up to the Speaker of the House, who must decide on the disqualification proceedings within a reasonable period. The top court has also held that the Maharashtra governor didn't act in accordance with the law in calling for a floor test, and that the communications relied upon by the governor didn't indicate that the rebel militia intended to withdraw their support to the chief minister. This should have been a severe admonishment of the government at the center and the political party concerned. But nobody is bothered. The top court ordered that the constitution doesn't empower the governor to enter the political arena and play a role, however minute, in intra-party disputes. The system of constitution has not thought about the rule of law, model role in the civil society. The recent elections in Karnataka should be considered a model for the power of people's democracy, and amid the thickets of criminal, religious and communal manipulations, and in the backdrop of institutions being disemboweled. It sets an example for voters to fight against spin doctors and manipulative political pundits. Whenever depictions are engineered to defeat definite electoral victors and manipulate judicial verdicts, the people should enhance the strength of the democratic power, just like the people of Karnataka do defeat the such political shenanigans. Shenanigans, yes. On Parliament, the executive and the judiciary, the three estates, and the fourth estate appear to be in the iron grip of the regime in power. The state in the is in control of money power. There is only one result for the people wielding the power of civil society. Some people call it the fifth estate. This is because we see that even the judiciary has largely failed to stop the chicanery and the tyranny of the misrulers. The thinking of people should take the constitutional system into their own hands and take charge of the situation, just like the people of Karnataka did. Compliments to Karnataka. Yes, this is about the real practical experiment of the election and the realities. The Hadovan victory, a triumph for Ottoman glory. Let me read this editorial page, guys. The Hadovan victory, a triumph for Ottoman glory, is a former Indian ambassador to Saudi Arabia. May 29th, 2023 marked the 570th anniversary of the capture of Istanbul, then Constantinople, by the Ottoman Sultan Mehmed II in 1453. This day also signaled the electoral victory of Turkey's modern-day Sultan Recep Tayyip Erdogan, who has begun a fresh term as president of the Turkish Republic. The elections for the presidency and the 600-member parliament on May 14 had upset most forecasts, which had suggested that the incumbent president would finally bow out of office and his challenger, Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu, would replace him. However, with an 88% turnout in an electorate of 64 million, Mr. Erdogan had then obtained 49.5%, 27.1 million of the vote, while his rival got 44.8%, 24.6 million. Mr. Erdogan Alliance, the People's Alliance, also won 323 seats in parliament as against also won 323 seats in the parliament as against Mr. Daroglu as Nation Alliance that got 213 seats. After the May 14th elections, Mr. Daroglu saw the swing to the nationalist right and adopted hardline rhetoric, promising to send back 10 million Syrian refugees within a year. This did not attract any new support. Most commentators now conceded that Mr. Erdogan would win in the runoff on May 28th. Erdogan's appeal. This has now been confirmed. In the May 20th run-up, in a turnout of about 24%, Mr. Erdogan has obtained 52% of the vote, while his rival got 48%. Both candidates have retained their earlier support base, but Mr. Erdogan roamed home with a larger number of votes, 27.7 million votes versus 25.4 million votes for Mr. Kılıçdaroğlu. The results of both elections reveal a sharp three-way geographical divide among Turkey's voters. Most of the Turkish heartland of Central Anatolia voted for Mr. Erdogan, giving him 72% of its vote. The Kurdish areas in the east, the more modern and better developed coastal areas in the west and south, and most major cities voted for Mr. Kılıçdaroğlu. Mr. Erdogan attracted the heartland by identifying with the region's Sunni identity and religious and nationalist values, even as he presented himself as the legatee of Ottoman legacy, upholding its political and military achievements and its civilizational glory. Mr. Kılıçdaroğlu, with his Alevi identity and his liberal persona, was at a disadvantage in this area. However, in the Kurdish and more modern areas of the country, his agenda of returning to the parliamentary system, mainstream economic policies, and improved ties with the West were found appealing. The economy will be Mr. Erdogan's primary concern. Many critics have blamed the president for the country's parlous situation. Inflation at 44%, currency depreciation of 80% since 2018, and negative foreign exchange reserves of 151 million just before the May 28th elections. But Mr. Erdogan had also benefited from a substantial foreign support. Last year, the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia had deposited 55 million each in Turkey's central bank, while Russia had provided about 10 billion to finance the Akuyu nuclear power plant. Russia has also agreed to postpone a 600 million Turkish gas bill to 2024. Turkey's foreign policy. These developments suggest that Turkey is unlikely to change its foreign policy posture in the West versus Russia competition. Western powers find it impossible to accept that their allies could, over time, shape new ideas relating to their interests and role in the world affairs. This is particularly true of Turkey, a North Atlantic Treaty Organization member since 1952. It has clearly acquired the capacity and the aspiration to chart its own foreign policy positions. Turkey under Mr. Erdogan has also expanded its strategic horizons and interests, extended to the Mediterranean, North Africa, West Asia, the Caucasus, and Central Asia, the Horn of Africa, and the Red Sea, and wishes to shape its own place in the emerging multipolar order. This approach reflected in Turkey's role in the Ukraine war, where it is the only NATO member with close ties with both Ukraine and Russia, is therefore likely to continue, as will Turkey's close relations with China, based on the importance Turkey attaches to its place in the Belt and Road Initiative. In West Asia, Turkey diplomacy will include building ties with Saudi Arabia and the UAE, while retaining close links with Qatar. Turkey will also pursue improved relations with Egypt, and they're working together with the UAE to address differences in Libya and the East Mediterranean. Ties with Iran are defined by shared economic interests, as also differences in Syria, Iraq, and the South Caucasus will also be a priority concern for Turkey. The challenge of Syria. The biggest challenge that Turkey will face will be in Syria. Before the run-up, Mr. Erdogan had spoken up engagement with the Bashar al-Assad government in Damascus. They will need to look at Turkey's concerns relating to the Syrian Kurds at the border, as also Syria's unhappiness at Turkey's ties with the Al Qaeda affiliated Hayat Tahrir al Sham at Idlib, and Mr. Assad's insistence on the withdrawal of the Turkish troops from Syrian territory. As Mr. Erdogan commences his third decade in power, he will, to the chagrin of the West, ensure that Turkey asserts strategic independence in a regional and world affairs in the fresh electoral victory of the president. Turkey's nationalism, epitomized by Ottoman glory, has triumphed. This is about the victory of the Ottoman country, Turkey. Yes. So I hope you guys enjoy the reading. At least read twice to make you understand better yourself. So it's and also you will come to know what is the exact meaning and the memory like summary. Let me go to the next page. The from master of the roaster to master of all judges. The BJP outreach to Civits. It has sought to mobilize and win over Civit mutts under their followers. He is an advocate practicing at the Supreme Court of India and is a Master of Law graduate in International Law from the University of Cambridge. Performance review how Parliament has functioned till now. The 17th Lok Sabha could be the shortest full-term Lok Sabha since 1952. Don't support AAP Congress leaders tell High Command. Kejriwal has sought backing in fight against Central's Delhi ordinance, arguing against AAP. Congress leaders from Delhi and Punjab pointed out that it had been calling them BJP's B team. Gehlot and Pilot agreed to fight elections together. HC notice to Hashin Malik Khan, NIA pleas for death penalty. Party will win 150 seats in Madhya Pradesh polls. Rahul. Northeast gets its first Vande Bharat Express. Union ministers, BJP CM say a new India has emerged under 9 years of Modi rule. Restless regroup after Sunday's action to decide future strategy. FM slams Chidambaram's remark on 2000 note. Decision on note recall was taken by RBI, says Nirmala Sitharaman. Congress leader had said the introduction and withdrawal cast doubt on the integrity and stability of Indian currency. I would think it is better to understand the situation and provide observations which are commensurate with the office he had held. 3 months on, lone Bengal Congress MLA joins Trinamool, BJP candidate with win MLC by force in Uttar Pradesh. Muslims lag behind all communities in higher education. UP shows vast decline, says a study. JDU slams its MP for taking part in Parliament opening. Over 25,000 visited Ki Bhavani Mela in Valley. President to pay visit to the Suriname and Serbia. 16-year-old girl stabbed to death in busy Delhi lane. 20-year-old accused had in UP video shows forces by watching the attack without intervening. Delhi CM urges LG to do something to set right law and order. NCW sets up a probe committee. CAG voted in an as WHO auditor for second term. Sri Vatsava sworn in as Central Vigilance Commissioner. Militant shoot had civilian in Kashmir's Anantnag district. Kashmir's Supiana Mausuki revives the first UN peacekeeping mission India to train women from Asian. 6 laborers electrocuted has high tension line falls on them. Mortal remains of US officers sent home after 58 years. Sri Saranagati simply surrender. Sharanagati, yes, Sharanagati. Spain government calls snap selection after local ballot clauses. Russia issues arrest warrant for US senator over Ukraine remarks. North Korea alerts Japan about plans to launch satellite in coming days. ADB approves C350 billion in budgetary support to Sri Lanka. Ukraine claims it shot down 11 Russian ballistic cruise missile over Kyiv. Erdogan calls for unity rival slams most unfair election. Turkey's re-elected president says now is the time to set aside disputes and reunite around our national goals. Dargolu claims all the means of the state were laid at the feet of one man. President-elect Bola Tinubu vows to unite and secure Nigeria. New anti-LGBTQ law in Uganda imposes capital punishment. January imports from January to April imports from China as China rise 4.6 to 37.86 billion. Solar capacity addition lead 48% to 1.9 gigawatt in January to March. The directors should keep vigil on bank CEOs. RBI Governor. ONGC's financial year 24 capex dips marginally to 30,125 crore. ITC expects volumes to rise as inflation cools. AI has moved from its taxi phase now in takeoff mode. Alcaraz Djokovic advanced with stride set wins. Triple jumper Selva Prabhu breaks national junior record. Sai Sudarshan as onslaught takes Titans to highest total in IPL final. Dhoni becomes first Indian with 300 dismissals in 2020. India best Kazakhstan to clinch volleyball gold. Neeraj has a muzzle strike. Pulls out of FPK games. Kohli joins Indian team's time. As young Indian GMs make waves on global stage, it is time to take chess to the next level at home. Newcastle is here to play with the big boys and will not settle for mediocrity. Generative AI's hallucinations may foster denial of science. Even if you don't use generative AI, it is likely you have already read articles created by it or developed from it. It can take time and effort to find and evaluate reliable information about science online, but it is worth it. Bodies of fish could grow much larger in warmer waters. Study the accomplishments of the brilliant Bernoulli family. Representative photo. Science denial. Intentional disinformation. Know when to become more deliberately thoughtful and when it's worth identifying and evaluating sources of information. Text and context. The lack of teachers in higher education. Why are faculty shortages a problem? What are the two main obstacles which stand in the way of finding viable solutions to faculty shortages? Is the lack of educators really a quantitative problem, or does it go beyond it? Duh, duh, duh. India's unemployment rate dips in January to March 2023. The flow of FDI into India declined in 2023. Shanghai records the hottest May day ever in 100 years. The aid approved by Asian Development Bank for Sri Lanka. The jihadists killed in a joint operation as per the claims of Niger. What has India done to curb unnecessary hysterectomies? Understanding the violence faced by healthcare professionals in India. Patients are their relatives turn to violence because the healthcare system has not met their expectations. Studies show that female medical professionals are objectively more at risk of being on the receiving end of both physical and verbal workplace violence. With Congress leader Siddaramaiah becoming the Chief Minister of Karnataka for the second time, is which one of India's most important provincial leaders, its CMs. This is the last page, guys. So I'm going to hand the page. Doctors and medical students protest against the killing of female house surgeon Vandana Das. Yes, guys, it's about the incident has happened in the recent past. Yes, I'm going to hand the video. Please subscribe to channel. Please subscribe my channel and like and share and see you in the upcoming videos with very informative updates. See you. Have a great day.